Welcome to Coastal Cooking with your host, Carmela Campbell. Coastal Cooking features delicious recipes and cooking tips from the Gulf Coast's finest chefs and restaurants. Watch as popular local chefs prepare their special dishes with natural gas. Coastal Cooking is brought to you by Pensacola Energy, provider of clean, efficient, natural gas.
We have got a double treat for you today because my guests are Executive Chef Gregg McCarthy with the Grand Marlin on Pensacola Beach and his son, Chef Matt McCarthy from New York.
Yeah.
What a treat this
I'll tell
is.
you, this is fun.
And son.
Very cool.
We've cooked a little bit, you know, obviously holidays and things like that, but Matt spent the day in the kitchen yesterday and we come up with these recipes and we're real excited.
Oh, well, we're excited too. Tell us what's on the menu today.
Well, we're going to start off our first course. We're going to do a Scallops Crudo with an heirloom tomato and watermelon gazpacho. And
that sounds
it's
so
fresh.
good.
I mean, everything's in season right now. You got heirloom tomatoes are in season. You got watermelon. Beautiful produce is coming out of Louisiana, all around here locally. So we're really excited to highlight what's
This is the time
local.
to make this type of gazpacho for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
gentlemen, I'll let you
All right.
take over.
So we're going to start out. We're going to kind of quickly marinate. We have some heirloom tomatoes here. We have some beautiful watermelon. We're going to put a whole bunch of cilantro in here. Just pop it in there. Extra virgin olive oil over the top. Matt's going to get started with some cucumber. And one thing you want to do is you want to season this right from the beginning because the salt will help draw out some of those juices.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what do you mean by heirloom?
Heirlooms are kind of old seed that have been kind of handed down through hundreds of years, you know, through families and farmers, and it's really, you know, the way food should be. You know, we're all kind of going back to organics and natural products, and you know, so heirlooms are on the scene. People are using them. They're recognizing, you know, the name. But you know, a tomato that you see in a grocery store that comes out of a hothouse, you know, it's that perfect tomato. But heirlooms are rough.
And it's all perfect color.
Yeah, but a tomato really isn't, you know, perfect color. It's kind of rough, and it's got these variegations in color and
shape.
But the flavor it's intense. It's incredible. Okay, got a little bit of Serrano Chilies here going in. We got to spice it up a little bit.
So with the cucumber as well, you want to take out the seeds just to kind of cut down on the amount of water that goes in it. Otherwise, you know, with the tomato as well, we cut it in half along essentially the equator of it and squeezed out all the extra juice in there. Because if you don't do that to the cucumber and tomato, it winds up being too watery.
Yeah, and somewhat bitter.
Okay.
Yep.
Good deal.
See, I learned from him.
Well, listen, you could not have a better mentor than your dad
Oh, of course.
as a chef.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he learned from the best.
Oh well, you know, he's a real up and coming chef in New York City, and I'm really proud of him. I'll
That
tell
is
you,
wonderful.
there's no doubt about it.
Yep.
He challenges me. We talk on the phone. We talk about food all the time and
And
what's
you
new
exchange
and
recipes?
ideas. And
Yeah.
no, he won't give me his recipes.
Typical chef.
We have to have our secrets.
Yeah, that's right.
I worked with you all long enough to know that.
So
All right.
with the pepper too, I just kind of take all the seeds out in the excess membrane.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna
Yeah, that's good.
neatly try and spoon all this in here without getting it everywhere.
I love the watermelon in there.
Yeah, the watermelon really sweetens it up, and I've been doing a watermelon gazpacho for quite some years, and I just love the color that it gives and the sweetness, and quite a difference it throws into
You're
it.
getting a lot of water from the watermelon,
Yeah,
aren't you? So
a lot,
that's another
yeah.
reason to take care of the tomatoes and cucumber.
All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend this up, and while I'm blending it up, Matt's got a little garnish that he's going to work on. We got some diced watermelon, some cucumbers. Matt, why don't you go ahead and...
So it's same watermelon going in the gazpacho. We're gonna put, we just cut some like a small dice that we're gonna mix up for a garnish with a touch of cucumber as well, just cut very small. A little bit of lime segment that's been diced. We'll do a touch of lime zest.
So we've got the diced tomato, cucumber,
Uh,
watermelon?
Watermelon, lime, cucumber, a little lime zest.
Okay, no tomato in this.
No tomato.
No tomato, okay, I'm sorry.
And then we'll do just a touch of lime juice. Just a little bit because there are lime segments in there, so we don't want it to get too acidic. We'll add just a little bit of salt and a little bit of olive oil. Just enough to kind of get everything working
And
together.
look how beautiful that came out. Very nice. So what does gazpacho mean? Greg, I know it has a, is it
Well,
Spanish?
it's Spanish.
origin?
It's Spanish in nature. I mean, there's many different variations of gazpacho. There's white gazpachos with veal stock. There's green gazpachos, and it has Spanish roots. You'll find a lot of them thickened up with Marcona almonds. You'll find South American varieties and Central American varieties, kind of like we're making today, that are red. But it's a chilled soup, typically. Garnished with cucumbers and really, really refreshing for the summer season.
It sure is. And
Absolutely.
it's so healthy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
All right, well, let me give it a little taste here. It's pretty good.
All right.
All right.
All right.
It's passed the test.
Matt, you want to go ahead and slice the scallop?
Absolutely.
Oh, and these have scallops.
Yep. So the base of it will be the gazpacho, and then we're going to kind of thinly slice some scallops to garnish this whole dish with.
This is very different, Greg.
It is.
Beautiful.
But
Of
I'm
course,
gonna-
it's always your beautiful presentations. I hope you learned that from your dad. His
I did.
presentations are absolutely fabulous.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll put the gazpacho down there. Reach over in front of you.
How nice.
There you go.
Okay.
So once this goes down on the bottom of the plate, we can kind of plate up the scallops in whatever variation you might want to do. I think 6 pieces for this size plate is going to be plenty.
This would be like a light appetizer, starter course.
I have never seen a presentation like this for gazpacho, so this is,
Yeah,
This is
this is
great.
not a bowl of soup.
No, it's not.
Yeah, this is quite.
Okay, so once this goes on, I'm going to take the little, I guess you could say it's a watermelon salsa, and kind of just spoon it onto the dish in kind of random spots to kind of like, this flavor profile. Eating it with the scallop and whatnot is going to be really refreshing.
watermelon salsa.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to try that at home.
Oh, it's delicious. It's really. I mean, you can see how easy it is to make. Honestly.
Right, and you know what? Get you a bunch of vegetables and just, and it's probably better the longer it sits, right?
All of
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
food that we're doing today, you can make your own variations. Whatever you have in your refrigerator, whatever you see at the local
Right.
Palafox market,
Absolutely.
there's
Pick it up.
no rules. It's just kind of
You can make it your own.
absolutely.
Perfect.
So once that goes on, I like garnishing, especially raw scallops, and the whole idea of this is like really fresh vegetables. So I have a little bit of Serrano chili here that I'm just gonna kind of lay onto the scallops and around the dish, just to add a little extra heat. And in the same idea, you can take the Serrano that goes in the actual gazpacho. If you want it to be spicier, you could just leave all the seeds and membrane in
Yep.
there.
Now, serranos are a little bit hotter than jalapenos.
So you use them sparingly.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody has their tolerance level, and
You were so meticulous.
for me,
Beautiful.
That's what I do. So then from here,
So
we
much
just
fun to watch.
these are some microgreens that we get locally also.
nice little mix of
And you
them.
can
Radish,
eat these.
arugula,
They look
Oh, they're
just
beautiful.
gorgeous.
super flavorful.
Matt, you are creating a masterpiece here.
I just take a step back.
It must be fun.
It is fun, actually.
I think
Yeah,
it is.
watching your son.
All right, well,
That's
here we
about
go.
it there.
Here we have it. We'll put it up here like that.
The
and
McCarthy Gazpacho
There
with
are-
scallops. Wow.
That's a pretty plate, I
That
gotta
is
tell
a
you.
beautiful plate, it sure is. But hey, that's not all we got. We
Oh,
got
no, we
some
got-
more beautiful plates coming up
Yes, ma'am.
from the Grand Marlin and from Matt. Your assistant today, or you're his assistant?
I'm his
however you wanna
assistant
do it.
today,
That's
yeah.
right.
I'm the sous chef.
That's right. A new title for you, right? Today, for today. We'll be right back. You don't want to miss our other dishes from this dynamic duo, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Heat pumps don't pump much heat. In fact, heat from an efficient natural gas heater can be 30% warmer, and you can get up to an $800 rebate when you install one. Warming up to natural gas yet? Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com.
Welcome back. We have another special dish. Greg, tell us about this one.
Well, we're going to start out, actually, we have a fully deboned chicken that we're going to start out because it takes a little while. So we're going to go ahead and get that started, but what we're going to do is we're going to cast iron skillet, sear it with some garlic and some fresh thyme. And as that's cooking, we're going to baste it so get all that beautiful flavor over the top. Matt can tell us a little bit about how he boned out the chicken yesterday. You can actually, I'm sure, go to the local supermarket and have them do it for you, and it'll come out, you know, beautiful like this. It's actually quite an involved process, but Matt can take you through it real quick and how we did it.
Awesome. So first we're going to season up the skin side of the chicken, just with a touch of salt. And after that, once I flip it, we're going to be able to see kind of how all of this is boned out. So what you have is the whole entire chicken. The wing meat is still there. You have the full breast, the leg, and the thigh still all attached to this chicken. So what you can do is just season the other side, and kind of we're just going to kind of drop it into the pan here with a touch of olive oil.
And cast iron, Greg, is what you prefer for this,
Yeah, you know,
right?
actually, a little story about this cast iron pan. I had a sous chef that worked for me who worked for Paul Prudhomme over in New Orleans. And as a gift, he actually gave me this skillet that Paul Prudhomme used to use in his restaurant to blacken fish. It's
Wow.
kind of a unique story. Actually, on the bottom, it says K. Paul. So with the passing of Paul Prudhomme recently, you know, that's a really special piece of equipment.
Yeah, and I bet everything you cook in there is great.
It's got some love, I can tell you that right now.
So I find with this dish as well, just cooking in cast iron, because it's such a heavy metal, that it holds out well, because the idea of this chicken is to cook it at a low temperature for an extended period of time and really render out and crisp up the skin.
So Matt's going to get this in the pan, and then what we're going to do is we're going to work on an angel hair pasta, or capellini if you will, and we're going to do that with some fresh heirloom tomatoes that we got locally. Again, everything heirloom today. And I'm going to go ahead right now and put the pasta in the water. And you know, pasta, when you cook pasta, the water has to be boiling. It has to come back to a boil as quick as possible. And
And did you add salt to it, to the water?
yes, and it's
Salt.
salted. It's pretty heavily salted. You want that salt to get into the pasta, because otherwise it's very bland, and it just you can tell the difference when it's not seasoned properly. So I've got the angel hair started. Matt, you want to go ahead and start the rest of the pasta?
Just really quickly back to the chicken, we're going to add some crushed whole garlic cloves,
Oh yeah.
just scattered around the pan, and a couple fresh thyme sprigs, some in the pan, some actually on top of the chicken. So throughout the process of cooking this, as you get that extra fat to render out, you can baste those herbs and those garlic cloves over the chicken, and it really picks up some of that really awesome fresh flavor.
So while Matt's doing that, I'm going to be basting the chicken.
Okay.
And what it's doing, like you said, it's throwing its fat right now. And once there's enough, I'll show you how we do that. Again, extra virgin olive oil in the pan.
Okay, and then so starting this pasta, we're going to kind of get a little bit of color on some garlic, which we have about 1 clove sliced long ways, and a touch of Fresno chili. Super tasty.
Super.
Yeah.
So once this the Fresno and garlic starts to fry out. Once it starts to pick up just a touch of color, I'm going to add a little bit of chili flake to it to kind of bloom those oil or the chili into the oil, just to kind of pick up a little bit of heat into the pasta.
I can tell he's a chef.
He's a chef.
He talks like a chef. Looks like a chef. Looks like your dad. And as a matter of fact,
mini me.
yes, it is. Both of you went to CIA.
Yeah,
Culinary
I graduated in
Institute of
19,
America.
I don't want to tell you, but he graduated in 2011.
How do you think your son got your alma mater?
That was quite an honor, I got to tell you. And I hadn't been back much after I graduated, and to go back and be at his graduation was quite an emotional thing, actually.
Special. That is wonderful. And Matt, you have stayed in New York.
I have, yeah.
And gosh,
Just working my ranks through a couple restaurants in the
that's right,
city.
and getting all that experience.
Yeah, so
right.
now our garlic is just starting to pick up a little bit of color. So of course, just like with the gazpacho we made earlier, you can add more or less chili. You could add more Fresno or more chili flake if you wanted to make it spicier. We're just gonna keep it a little even here. So just a touch of chili flake, and then I'm gonna go in with the tomatoes and kind of let those cook down. This is all gonna be done on high heat. And just when you add the tomatoes, just add a little bit of salt to it to kind of let everything open up and
And you're layering flavors when you do that also.
exactly.
And these are heirloom tomatoes?
Yeah,
also?
these are from Covey Rice Farms in Louisiana. They're little golden sunburst tomatoes, and they're ripe and just packed with flavor. Beautiful.
Love it.
And then the one important thing too is, when those tomatoes go in, it also kind of cools that pan down so that garlic doesn't burn that's in there.
Oh, okay.
It'll go from a beautiful golden, which tastes like nice roasted garlic, but if you let it go too far, it gets a real bitter burn.
And I have done that.
Yeah,
I just start over, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks good, Matt. All of your recipes today are so healthy, Greg, and
They are.
full of flavor with, all of our fresh vegetables.
There's very little fats. We're going to use a little butter in here, but I think,
Add a little bit of wine.
yeah, let's get that wine
So
in
this is
there.
just some white wine. I'll add about 2 ounces to it, just to kind of continue to cook down those tomatoes for a minute. And then with the wine, also we're going to add some rock shrimp.
Rock shrimp, they're fresh out of Florida, over in the east coast of Florida. I'm not sure exactly the river over there, but they're in a brackish. They're mixed between salt and fresh water, and that's where they thrive. And they're crunchy. They got a lot of lobster-like flavor.
They do.
And
I
I think
love
they're so
Very, very sweet.
underutilized.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite. I almost enjoy them as much as
I
the
love the
shrimp.
lobster type flavor.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
They
They have great texture too.
and they fry really well for like a popcorn shrimp, and beautiful in a pasta.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of just whole basil leaves, which are going to kind of wilt out with all of that, and then we're going to finish it with a little fresh torn basil as well.
Yeah, I think that pasta's probably ready now.
Exactly.
And you want to go ahead and when you're making a pasta like this, since we don't have a real sauce per se, you want to go ahead and get some of that pasta water in there. It's got the starch in there to kind of tighten up the wine and help with that. And it also gives it that little saucy consistency, especially when we do it with the butter.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned with the squash, we're going to kind of keep it raw, and what we did was kind of julienne it on a Japanese mandolin, and almost the same exact shape as the pasta. So when everything gets tossed together, it's all going to be kind of one bite. Everything will be able to be eaten very easily. So from here, I'm just going to add. I let the pasta cook just for a minute in all that wine to kind of release its starch and kind of start to give that pasta a really nice mouthfeel. And then with the butter also, it's going to kind of bring all of those flavors together and create a sauce.
Great summertime dish
And
here.
especially with the rock shrimp, you really don't want to overcook it. You just want to cook it till it's translucent in the center. It gets really kind of real tough, and
You
I'm
don't
just
want
gonna put
that.
this plate here, and then, like I said, right at the end, I'm just gonna add a really nice handful of julienned yellow squash, and then a nice handful of the julienne
Now
zucchini.
look how well that blends in with the spaghetti
Absolutely.
or the capellini. I mean, you all think of everything.
It's just really exciting. Food these days is really exciting, and there's so much going on that it's actually hard to keep up with at
And
times.
you know, we're mixing different flavors now that
Oh, yeah.
you never did in the past
Well, you know,
that are
you're even
wonderful.
seeing, herbs and things in desserts, and it's not just all sweet anymore. There's a lot of savory that's mixed in there too.
So
This is ready to serve?
Absolutely. Once I added the squash, I just kind of turned off the heat. And then from there, I'm just going to plate it up. Kind of try to get a nice mix of everything going into the pasta. It kind of tends to go around the side, so I like to start to bring it out of the pan and then add some of the garnish. Just kind of like layer all of those ingredients in while plating.
Of course, if you wanted to kind of go a little bit more healthy route too, you could always use the whole wheat pastas that they're doing out there now.
Absolutely.
And then there's gluten-free pastas, although, they're catching up in quality. I've seen some really good ones out there.
Very good ones out
And,
there,
so
sure.
a dish that everybody can kind of.
And you
tailor
know,
to
Greg,
themselves.
we have so many of these different foods accessible to the public now, so
Oh,
that we
yeah.
can make these dishes at home.
I'll tell you, it's amazing what you can find in the grocery store
Yes,
these days. It
it's
really
wonderful.
is. And there's a couple fresh markets and things like that really kind of bring that
Fruits
farm
and
to
vegetables
table.
that you never saw
Yep,
before,
yep.
we have readily available, and it makes cooking fun when
Sure
you can
does. When
try
you
out
just walk
some of the
around and
different.
see all this beautiful produce
Food. Yes.
and meats and all natural meats and things.
So in going to finish this, I like putting a little bit of basil into the sauce so it kind of works into all of the liquid that's in there and the wine and the pasta water. And then I like to finish it with, like I said, the butter went into the pasta for the texture, but I like the flavor profile of some olive oil too. So I like to I just like to
take
do
that
a little
off.
bit of fresh basil and then just a touch of olive oil right on top as well.
And of course, if you're like me, you take the rest of those red chili flakes and you dump it over the top.
Sure. Of course.
Let's put that up front and center, Matt.
Absolutely.
Our dish, another
Nice dish,
beautiful
beautiful.
finished dish.
Great colors.
Gosh, that is gorgeous.
I mean, that's like summer on a plate right there.
It's
It is
awesome.
summer on a
plate.
plate. It's like fresh from the garden.
Absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, we have to take another break.
Okay.
We're going to let our chicken finish
All right,
cooking,
we'll come back.
and we
We'll finish
will
our chicken.
be right back right after these messages. Stay with us.
Heating water with electricity versus natural gas can cost twice as much, and tankless natural gas water heaters can add even more savings. So don't get soaked with higher energy costs. Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com. Natural gas dryers may cost a little more than electric ones, but they dry clothes quicker, making them cost half as much to run. So now who's getting taken to the cleaners? Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com.
Matt, our chicken is beautiful.
Thank you.
Look at
Chicken's
that
beautiful.
crust.
That skin is so crispy.
Just the
Okay,
way it's supposed to be, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
so we're going to make a bread salad, a panzanella, and obviously we have some beautiful crusty Italian bread here that Matt's going to cook. We're going to cook that bread right in the same juices that the chicken was cooked in. So it's going to get all that beautiful flavor. And while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this salad. Basically, we took some onions and we charred them on a flat grill so they get a nice caramelized flavor. We got some beautiful heirloom tomatoes again, some red bell peppers, cucumbers. I like dried cherries because I like the sweet tartness that they throw in there. It's a little crunch, it's a little chew to it. I'm a big fan of fruit in these types of salads. And again, now, this time of year, we could have done peaches, grilled peaches. They're out there,
yeah.
beautiful. The cherries themselves are out there, they're fresh, so you don't have to use dried, but I kind of like the tartness that they have. Got some salt and pepper. Sherry vinegar. I love kind of that sherry flavor. You get that wood out of the casks. extra virgin olive oil. And you want to do that a little bit ahead of time so that we get all these flavors mixed and matched and they all kind of melt together, and the salt and the nice juices from the tomatoes.
Looks so good. That's ready to plate. Huh?
That is ready to plate. We're going to go ahead. At this point, we're going to hit it with some arugula. Now, this chicken obviously is for 2 people. Unless you're me or Matt, we could probably finish off the whole thing, but you know. But, okay, so we got some beautiful arugula, organic arugula. We have some radicchio. Radicchio is in the endive family. It's a beautiful red lettuce, and it has a very peppery, bitter flavor, as most endives do.
Greg, while you do that, I'm going to give everyone our telephone number.
Okay.
If you would like copies of today's recipes, you can call Pensacola Energy at 436-5050, or you can visit our website at www.coastalcooking.com. And Matt, you are slicing this chicken, cooked to perfection. Look how juicy this is, Greg.
Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that skin,
You
so
did
crispy.
such a good job, you little chef.
I'm going to step back
You
and
did
out
a
of the
great
way.
job on this. Slow and easy on this one, huh?
Absolutely. Slow cooking is the best.
Oh my goodness,
Crispy
what
skin.
a dish.
Pour that right out.
Look at
And
that, he fanned it
look
out.
at, and you added the
You're going to drizzle some.
Just a little bit of olive oil
croutons in the salad.
just over top.
You know, my grandmother used to make chicken when we were kids, and one of the things she'd do, she'd bring it out in the roasting pan with all the drippings and some crusty Italian bread, because I'm half Italian, and we take that bread and we dip it in those drippings, and that's
Nothing better.
really kind of what you have
It
here,
is.
because we cook those croutons in those drippings from the
Yes.
chicken, and toss it in the salad, and they're warm, and it just brings all those flavors together.
We Italians, we don't
No, we don't
miss
Don't mess
anything.
around.
I can't
don't
ignore
waste
my
anything
Irish
either.
side, you know. They take care of the
I'm not-
wine and everything else that goes with the
I'm
dinner.
100% Italian, so I can say that.
You can do it with potatoes the same exact way to keep it gluten-free
Yeah, that's
too.
right. That's right.
Very good.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Good
Potatoes and
He knows
Yeah.
a lot already.
I'm learning
That's-
every day.
that's my
telling
Irish
you.
side.
That's the Irish
That's
side.
right.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, this has been so much
Well, thank you so much for
fun.
having us
Thank you.
on.
Matt, thank you for
Matt?
joining us.
Absolutely.
Did
That
you
was
have a
Matt.
good time? Your
It was
first
great.
TV debut?
It was awesome. Yeah,
Well,
thank
you
you.
did a great
You
job.
did a great job.
Of course, you got a great dinner. What else can I say? And as always, it's a delight to have you on.
Thank you for having us
And
on.
you got your new Grand Marlin
yeah.
coming up.
Grand Marlin, Panama City Beach.
Panama City.
Coming in late August, early September.
We'll look for that. You'll have to do another show
Yeah.
from there.
I'm gonna need a little time to settle in first.
Well,
But,
thank
yeah.
you again. I think we've got to end the show, but look what we're ending it on.
I'll
How
tell you
about
what,
that?
gorgeous dish.
Absolutely.
that
All
up
three of
front.
them are.
Try that at home. It's so easy. It really is.
Yeah. Or come to the Grand Marlin.
Or come to Grand Marlin. Better yet.
Let Greg do it, or maybe
Well-
Matt will be there and he can whip it up for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, gentlemen. Well, we look forward to having you on again.
Thanks again for
Awesome.
having us.
Thank you.
All right.
We had a
and
ball.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with
My
more
boy.
Coastal Cooking.
This has been Coastal Cooking with your host, Carmela Campbell. Coastal Cooking is brought to you by Pensacola Energy, provider of clean, efficient, natural gas. Join us each Sunday at 6 p.m. for more Coastal Cooking.